welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, Wize, and I'm very excited for my next guest. Let's just bring him on to the stage. We're running a little bit late. So Dr. Fred Moss is on. How you doing, Dr. Fred?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. What can we talk about today?
All right, I got a bunch of questions for you. Give me 1 second. My computer's acting up right now. You gotta love modern technology. Oh, come on. So right now we're having some real bad winds up here in the mountains. Like we're having some ridiculous. So my internet is kind of acting up on me, but please just bear with me. So where are you at, Dr. Fred?
I'm in California. I'm in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas here on the northeast side of California.
Oh, okay. I'm up in the Pocono Mountains here in Pennsylvania.
Poconos, yeah.
Yes.
Familiar.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, we just had some icy weather now. Right now we're just dealing with some heavy winds right now.
Yeah.
It's just really okay. Let's try this. All right, here we go. Let's see. That did it. Come on. Sorry, everybody. All right, so you know what? All right, Dr. Fred, how does someone undoctor their mental illness?
Well, yeah, we got to start somewhere, and that's a good place to start. And so, undoctoring is like it sounds. It's a matter of undiagnosing, unmedicating, and then undoctrinating. So getting yourself out of the conventional system. Clearly, I don't think anyone would argue that the conventional system isn't broken. It's really broken. It's fractured. It's been broken for a long time. And it's just coming to surface now for most people that how completely broken it is. It doesn't generally help people. So if you really want to get help, the way to do that is to not enter that system. That is not the best place to get help, although that's how we've been indoctrinated. That's how we've been programmed. But undoctor does is undoctor, undiagnoses, unmedicates, and then undoctrinates. And the way that we do that is giving you alternatives to what you thought was mental illness. Now, at some point, we've been taught over time to think that if we're uncomfortable with life, that must mean there's something wrong with us. But I think you'll agree it's pretty easy to be uncomfortable with life right now. It's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with us for being uncomfortable. We don't blame a log for burning in a fire.
Yeah.
And we're not going to blame us for not knowing how to live in this crazy world that we're living in. So you sometimes be afraid of what's coming around the corner. You sometimes be depressed about things that have already happened. You sometimes be nervous or concerned or scared. Or you have funny thoughts, or you have thoughts of like it's not worth it, or you feel distractible, or you feel awkward in a crowd. The answer to all those things is just welcome to humanity. It is not an answer that says there's something wrong with you and you need to come get some help. So here's the thing. You do need to get some help, but the way to get help is to connect with another person. The best way to heal anything, in fact, at the heart of all healing is a human connection. And when we make that significant shift, we start realizing there was nothing wrong with us even when we were feeling miserable. Even when we were out of sorts, even when we were a mess, if we were hopeless, if we were scared, if we were terrified. All those things are part of the human experience in the life that we're living. There's nothing pathological about it. And as far as undoctrinating, how does someone undoctor? Well, we talk about that. We get an access to what's going on over there for real. Like I have a conversation where we both share what's going on over here for real. This isn't a matter of me having something that I'm going to give to my patients or give to my clients. other than realizing that at the heart of all healing for real is a connection, a human connection. And when we connect with somebody and actually get them and actually connect with them, actually like understand them and, get what their concerns are and have them feel like they've been gotten, then there's a whole new, like an explosion of healing that takes place at that very moment. Much more profound, much more real, much more predictable, much cheaper, and no side effects. And you don't have to get an authorization and you don't have to pay a copay. All you have to do is connect with another person and create that level of mutual understanding, harmonic frequency. And in that process, that's where healing comes out. So as a doctor, for someone who's been in the field for 36 years as a physician, and another 10 years before that as a child care worker, so 46 years in the field as of this next week, actually, January 5th is my seniority date, we start realizing that the best way to help somebody through any kind of difficult times is to get them, is to understand them, is to have them realize that they're not alone, that this is part of the human experience that we're all sharing. And when we do that, that's when this explosion called healing can actually take place. So that's the essence of Undoctor.
Okay. So should medication have a role in treating psychiatric patients?
No. However, it does. But should it? No.
No.
Absolutely not. There's nothing about medications that cures any psychiatric condition ever. No one ever takes medication to cure their condition because it doesn't cure. It doesn't even pretend to cure. It doesn't even market itself as a cure. It markets itself as a blanket, as some way of like smothering the symptoms that you're having by maybe taking away your capacity to feel any symptoms. So a lot of people report blunting. They report blunting. They report that they don't have the same level of emotions after they start taking antidepressant. That's because it didn't cure your depression. What it did is smothered your ability to have real feelings about anything going on, including depression. So if you look very myopically at depression, you're right. You're not as depressed, but you're not as anything. You're not as interested. You're not as excitable. You're not as sexy. You're not as fun. You're not as curious. You're not as inspiring. All those things get blunted, including depression. It's a very, very large price to pay, the idea of taking away your ability to feel all emotions in order to address depression. Now, the other problem with the medications is the medications are designed to perpetuate the symptoms they're marketed to treat. They're designed to induce those symptoms or increase those symptoms, or in many cases, actually cause the symptoms that they're marketed to treat. Now, where is there a place for medicine? Well, in my world, I still prescribe medicine, but only for one kind of person. And that's a person who comes and sees me. They're already on medicine. They've already bought the farm. They've already rang that bell. They've already believed for some number of months or years that there's something wrong with them. They've already started eating medicine every morning without fail. They wouldn't miss their medicine for anything. They're willing to line up around the block at the pharmacy to get it each and every month. They call me on my off day to make sure that I get it to them right away. And this is not medicine that is really helping them, but it's medicine that they have determined that they need. And in that process, I'm a doctor, I'm a psychiatrist. Who else should you go to for psychiatric medicine? So I'm able to actually rationalize giving medicine to people who are already on medicine and haven't yet learned that they would be better off of medicine. And I'm willing to continue to give them their medicine so that I have a continual relationship with them. So that because it is not the other way around. I'm not giving them medicine so that they're capable of having relationship. I'm giving them medicine because if I stop giving them medicine, they would just go around the corner to somebody else and get the medicine, and they would never learn what it is that I'm sharing with you and your audience today.
So you look at it as, okay, this way I'll give them the medication because they're already taking it, but in the process, you're building a relationship with them, and you're trying to show them another way other than medication.
Oh, for sure, man, because medications don't help. That's the bottom line. I don't know if you've noticed, there's over 1 billion people who have been diagnosed or who have, there's the recent estimate that I read yesterday is 1.1 billion people have some sort of mental health condition. Now, I don't know if you've noticed when you look around the world, it doesn't appear that the world is any healthier, even though hundreds of millions of them are taking medicine. These are not people who are healthier because they take medicine. The world is becoming less and less mentally healthy. The world is starting to depend on this idea that they have some sort of alphabet soup of a diagnosis. BAD, NPD, chronic post-traumatic PTSD, ADHD. They're pretty sure that they have a condition. What if that's not a condition at all? What if all it is your way of trying to deal with a world that is very confusing, very challenging, with lots of obstacles and hurdles, and all you're dealing with and all any of us are dealing with is the human condition. And we're all doing our very best, given everything that we have, to make a difference in this world, to actually be someone who can make a mark. Is that connecting with another person? Maybe it's with your partner, maybe it's with your children, maybe it's with your family, maybe it's with your customers. You're here to make a difference with other people. And you already know that. Why are you doing a podcast? The reason you're doing a podcast is so you can connect with people, after all. You're not doing a podcast as an antidepressant. You're not doing a podcast as antipsychotic. You're not doing a podcast because you're psychiatrically ill. You're doing a podcast so that you can connect with people. And that's what we're all after, ultimately.
Oh, yeah, no, it's helped me grow as a person because of the conversations I've been able to have. I've received messages from people who certain episodes have made an impact. Like, one of my greatest episodes that I love the most is an interview I did with this young lady from Italy, and her episode kind of got lost in the shuffle, so it took a year by the time I released it. And when I released it, she messaged me and she seen the description of it all, and she heard the episode, and she thanked me because we had lost touch for a few months, and she had been going through some stuff and not feeling the same. And that episode kind of reminded her of who she was and times. So being able to do the podcast and connect with people, yeah, it's been important. The connections that I've been able to make are very important to me.
Yeah. They're very, very much more powerful than anything you're going to find in the conventional psychiatric system.
Yeah. So what do you think society gets completely wrong about healing?
What's the question?
What is it that you think society gets completely wrong about healing?
What do I think that society gets completely wrong about healing?
Yeah, about healing, because
I think they think there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, because if you would get over that there's nothing wrong with you, then you wouldn't have to need to be fixed, and you wouldn't have to. What do you do when there's something wrong with you? We've been programmed. What do you do when there's something wrong with you? You go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Bullshit, bro. That is not where you should go. That's like going to the demolition derby when there's something wrong with your car. Yeah. Like, you might as well go to the scrap yard when there's something wrong with your car. It's very similar to that. The medicine system is not even pretending to do our people well. Yeah. But they own everything. On every corner, there's another urgent care, or there's another hospital, or there's another pharmacy. Medicine is doing well, thank you very much. They're making billions of dollars per day in profit margin alone. Why is that? Because people are fully convinced that there's something wrong with them. And when they think there's something wrong with them, they've been programmed, we've been programmed. What do you do when there's something wrong with you? We come to a doctor. And what happens when you go to a doctor is the whole cycle starts. They give you a diagnosis, which is traumatic in its own right. And after the diagnosis, then you get medication. You get medication, which actually makes you much worse. And in that process, what do you do when you get worse and you're seeing a doctor? You go see the doctor. And you go see the doctor and get more medications. And you go see the doctor and get more diagnoses. And you go see the doctor and take medicine for the side effects of the original medicine. And before too long, indeed, you have the condition. Unfortunately, it was created by the so-called treatment. It didn't exist before you came to the doctor, but you were, unhappy, or maybe you were even miserable, or maybe really afraid, or really nervous, or really hopeless, or really sad, or really awkward, or really distracted. And you were convinced at that point that there was something very wrong with you. Ultimately, maybe there was nothing wrong with you, and maybe all you're dealing with is the human condition.
And a supporter of the show actually agrees with you. He says this guy's 100% right. He agrees with what you say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And I appreciate Corrado. And here's the thing. It's like, there's not much pushback here. I'm not saying anything that controversial. I'm only saying that the bullshit that we've been following doesn't work. Hello.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
That's all I'm saying. So my job as a clinician, as someone who has devoted their life into helping people get a better life, is to look for things that do work. And I have found a whole set of things that really work to get us back to center. Not like there was something wrong with us, but they assist us in getting actually back to our purpose, back to our vision, back to our core values, back to living a life that's worthwhile, back to being a contribution, back to being able to be a father, being able to be a brother, being able to be a husband, being able to be a dad, being able to be a human, being able to be an adult, being able to be an American, being able to be a friend, being able to be an employer, being able to be an employee. All those things are things that many of us are dealing with. And we can do that. We can do that. We don't have to declare ourselves sick in order to do that. So before we're able to do that, we may not feel capable. We may not, know that we have the capacity. That still doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Before you start doing something, you don't know how to do it. I promise. It's just the way it is. Before you start doing something, you don't know how to do it. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. That means you're just at a space and time where you haven't started doing it. And early on, when you start doing something, you're not very good at it.
This is true.
It's just true, bro. It's just true.
Yeah.
That's what makes what I'm saying so much fun. I realized I didn't learn this from reading journals. I didn't learn this in medical school. You know when I learned this? I learned this when I was 3. All of us learned this when we were 3. And then we gave that up thinking there was something better or more right or more correct as we got to be adults. And then our parents and our brothers and our sisters and our friends started going to doctors when they felt like there was something wrong with them. And then they got treated with the way they did. And maybe some of them got a little bit better in the area that they were looking at. We already explained how that might have occurred inside of the illusion of an antidepressant.
Yeah.
And then when they get better, we hear these stories, or someone posts a story like, I took my Celexa and it changed my life forever. Now, it does change your life forever. I'll give you that. It is a mind-bending drug for sure. But what it does to change your life is so crucially counterproductive in so many areas that we don't give that enough credit. We think if we keep looking, did my depression go away? The answer might be yes. But if we veer out of 10,000 feet or 30,000 feet, we get to ask the question, did everything go away?
Oh, look at it. Oh, side effects. Everything has side effects, and they say it so fast, right? They say all the side effects so fast.
Well, here's the thing about side effects. Side effects are not side effects. Side effects assume that there's something good happening, and these are the bad things. That's what a side effect is. Now, it's not a side effect. It's actually an effect. It's what the drugs cause.
Oh, yes.
So when you start looking at the truth here and not give in to the idea that it's a side effect, as if there is something nourishing in the middle and these are side effects, no, dude, there's nothing nourishing in the middle. There's no side effects. These are the effects of taking these drugs. So your sex goes away, so you eat too much, so you get fat, so you start shuffling, so you stop drooling, so your sleep goes bad, whatever. So you start stuttering or whatever it is that you start doing, and then you say, oh, that's a side effect of my medicine. No, it isn't.
It's an effect of your
medicine. It's an effect of your medicine. And it's not the medicine that's the problem. This is a really important piece. So before I go too far, I want to give a disclaimer that I always do on podcasts because it's very important. There's probably a group of people in this audience who are listening to me today who are pretty sure that they're diagnosed and they're really happy with their treatment. They've got their therapist, they've got their doctor, they've got their counselor, they love their counselor, doctor, or therapist. Their life was sucked beforehand and now it's so much better. Maybe they take medicine, they get some kind of therapy, they wouldn't leave it for the world. They think it's the best thing since sliced bread. Here's what I have to say to those people. Please keep doing exactly what you're doing. Because if you have reached that point in any area of life, if you have reached a point where you wouldn't trade this for anything, that is such a powerful position. I wish I would have reached that anywhere in my life ever. I've never reached that point ever in any area of my life. But if that's where someone is with respect to their mental health and their, mental treatment,
Yeah.
by all means, dude, please keep doing what you're doing and teach people how to have what you have. On the other hand, this conversation is really not for them. And they can realize I'm only talking to people and letting them know that there was nothing wrong with them. There was nothing wrong with them to begin with. You can assume that there's something wrong with you if that makes you feel better. If that actually helps you through the world, if you think you're handicapped as you are, and that's really important for you as your identity, please keep doing that. It's no problem. I'm not upset. I don't think you're wrong. It's all good. I know a lot of people who actually think that way. What I'm really suggesting is that these medicines and the diagnoses both have traumatic effects. If you didn't think there was something wrong with you, you wouldn't need to go to a doctor because you wouldn't need to be fixed. And then when you got to the doctor, they wouldn't work as hard as they do to keep you as a patient forever. Because that's what the whole thing is. It perpetuates the relationship between the doctor and the patient forever. And it creates a power gradient that can't be reconciled. I'm the doctor, I'm the higher. You know how people say sometimes, I don't know, you're the doctor. I'm like, I asked you about you, and you think I know more about you than you? That's just totally absurd. I don't know more about you than you do. I never will know more about you than you do. Nowhere, I didn't go to some magical school called medical school that taught me how to know people more than they do. The truth is, I don't know you any better than you. And in that same frame, I'm not responsible for anything that you do. Yeah. I never have been responsible for anything that you do. I never will be responsible for anything that you do. But inside psychiatry, that notion is lost. For instance, someone comes and sees a psychiatrist and they start them on some medicine, or they don't start them on some medicine, or they start them on some therapy, or they don't start them on some therapy, but they see the psychiatrist. What most people don't realize is that they got a diagnosis for sure. You can't even go one time to a psychiatrist without getting a diagnosis. Psychiatrists must give you a diagnosis in order to be paid. So you now have a diagnosis. It's not erasable from your records. It'll be there forever. Whatever they chose to give you that day, that's what you now have. It's in your record to stay forever. It can't be removed. No doctor can come later and remove it. So not only that, you get the idea that, these medicines and these diagnoses are actually like giving you a new identity as well. Let's say you came into my office and you told me you had a set of symptoms. You have really gray skin, it's mottled, you have a big nose, you drink too much water, you eat too many peanuts, and you're a mess in a china shop. I, as a doctor, might take out my book, my DSM-17 or whatever, and go through it. And I look and find, I got your diagnosis. Then you're like, really? Yay. What's wrong with me, doctor? And I say, you're an elephant. And you say, that is so cool. That explains everything. Thank you. Why are you thanking me? Because now you can start saying, that wasn't me. That was my elephant. I didn't do that clumsy thing. I didn't do that thing that I'm ashamed of. I didn't do that thing that I'm blameful of. I didn't do that thing that I'm guilty about. I didn't do that thing that that I wish I wouldn't have done. That was my condition that did that. So we get to relinquish responsibility for our life when we do this. Now, the truth is, when you walk out of the doctor knowing that you're an elephant, the first thing you'll be looking for outside of the office is a circus and chains, because you already know that's what an elephant needs, a circus and chains. So now you go home and your brother says, hey, dude, what's happening? And you go, I figured out what was wrong with me. I saw the specialist today. And he's like, oh, okay, good. Tell me what's wrong with you. And he looks straight in the eyes of his brother and he says, I'm an elephant. And brother does just what you did. He's like, I don't think so. I hear you. Good for you, but I don't think so. You know what he's thinking? He feels sorry for you because you don't know yet. He already knows. He's been told by a specialist he's an elephant. He might as well have been told he has bipolar disorder. He might as well have been told he has chronic post-traumatic stress disorder or he's on the spectrum. He might as well have been told he has autism. He can be told anything, but once he believes it, now it becomes part of him. Then he starts getting more concerned. You want to know why? Because you're his brother. And since you're his brother, it's possible that you're an elephant too. And he's feeling sorry for you because it's going to take you a long time to realize what he just realized earlier that afternoon. He's an elephant, and he hopes that you're not an elephant, but you might be, and you probably should get tested. This is how psychiatric conditions grow, just like that. And if we just want to be honest with ourselves, we can learn in a very real way that life is extremely challenging. If you and I started working together to come up with 100 reasons to be scared, how long do you think it would take us?
Not that long.
Like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's if we took a break. How long would it take us to come up with 100 reasons to be nervous?
Same. Not that long.
Not that long. How about 100 reasons to be really sad?
Yeah.
How about 100 reasons to be awkward?
Yeah.
How about 100 reasons to be distracted?
Yeah.
If we call it the internet, if we cover it with one thing, it's going to be hard to come up with 100 of them. But we're on the internet so much that it's completely easy to be distracted, like all day long, all day, every day.
Yeah.
All right. Do you get that all of those things are psychiatric conditions, supposedly? No, they're not. They're humanity. Every one of those things will get you a diagnosis, right? Every one of those things will get, and once you have a diagnosis, what do you think the doctor is compelled to do? He's compelled to treat you because he just determined and you just agreed there's something wrong with you. So now he has to treat you. He's going to give you some sort of form of therapy, and he's probably going to give you some medicine. And if he doesn't know how to write medicine, he'll send you to somebody who does to make sure that you get the proper medicine. And don't ever stop taking it. They already teach you that too. Don't you dare stop taking this. You'd be a bad boy if you stop taking it. So here's what I want you to get. I know your diagnosis already, by the way. I've been watching you closely during this call. You do have a diagnosis. I have one for you.
What is it?
Your diagnosis is Will Otero. I am certain of that. All tests have been done.
Yeah.
You've been walking through the world in your unique way since the day you arrived here with a condition called Will Otero. That's the only condition you have. You don't have one of these alphabet soup diagnoses. You just don't. You may think you do. In fact, some specialists might have told you have ADHD or you have bipolar disorder or you're on the spectrum or you got some depression or this, or you feel like you might have a condition. That doesn't mean that you do. That just means you bought a bag of goods. Okay, you bought a bag of goods. Okay, good. I hear you. You bought a bag of goods and now you think there's something wrong with you and that's how you walk through the world. I would be whole and complete, except I also have depression. No, you're whole and complete, and part of being whole and complete is to be depressed every so often. Yeah.
Yeah, it's life. Yeah. I don't think you go through life just being completely happy every day. All that, like, life happens.
Dude, it's not possible. It's never been possible.
Yeah.
You can act happy as often as you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I suppose if you snort cocaine all day long, you'll be happy for a minute until you crash, and then you'll be wanting to commit suicide.
You'd be depressed there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. So Dr. Fred, there's some things you teach, right? So one of the things you teach is the true voice method. Can you explain to me what that is?
Sure. So thanks for bringing that up. You know, my second book is called Find Your True Voice. My first book was called The Creative Eight: Healing Through Creativity and Self-Expression. But I did teach a course. I do teach a course. It's online at thetruevoicecourse.com. And the True Voice course is really about the fact that we learned very early on how to be somebody that we're not in order to protect the person that we are. We learned that very early. We learned that in conventional education. We actually learned that in kindergarten and first grade for the first time. You know, as a kid, you may have had some intention to go walking around or to go see what's over there or to throw a spitball, to have fun, to punch your friend or to pull that girl's hair or whatever you decided to do as a first grader. And you were told, no, that isn't how we do things here. The way that we do things is we sit down and we be quiet, we watch the blackboard, and then we do whatever the teacher does, exactly how he or she does it. And if we do that, we get to pass into second grade. So we learned how to be somebody that we weren't in order to protect the person that we are. And that's how we got through life. And the crack in the cement has gotten larger and larger and larger. So we're no longer acting like our genuine self. We want to present an image. We want to make sure that we don't say things even if we feel like we could, or that we say things when we don't even think we should. And here's the other piece. It's gotten so extreme that many of us actually say things out loud that even we don't believe. What the hell is that? What? That's like beyond a lie. You know what I mean? That's like, a lie is one thing. I can see you sometimes, you bend the truth so your mom doesn't realize that you took $20 from her. Okay. That's not that. This is worse than that. This is actually saying something, representing yourself as believing something that you don't. That is really, really out there. And with respect to true voice, what we start doing is we recognize that. Nothing wrong with that. That's how we've grown up. It's not like you're a bad person for doing that, even though it does sound very silly and perverse. Ultimately, what we really do is help people get back to their core self so that who they're becoming each and every day and who they show up as each and every day and what they say each and every day is more aligned with their center, is more aligned with who they really are. And in that process, we find that human frequency. How do we know that we're there? Because we all know when we're lying. We know when we're not telling our truth. That's already implanted in us. You know when you're acting like somebody that you're not really. Around that girl or around that room or around that group, you act, a little bit more badass or a little bit more afraid or a little bit more something.
There's always ways. There's different personas or facades, whatever you put up in different situations.
Right. And so you may even be guilty, I know I am, of sometimes saying things that even you don't believe. What we start really addressing is how can we get back to that center? How can we get back to what's already there? We don't have to look out there to find out who we really are. We do not have to look out there to find out who we really are. Who we really are is sitting here underneath all the mud, underneath all the rust, underneath all the cobwebs, underneath all the wreckage. Yeah. Who we are is right here in the middle of who we've been. So by moving those things out of the way, we find our own honest and real human frequency. Why is that important? Because when you show up at that honest and real human frequency, other people get it too. So if you're enjoying this conversation, and I thank you for letting me have, 90% of the floor, that's because you actually are resonating with me at your own human level. Let's say that that's 420 megahertz. It might be 420 megahertz. Let's just say that it is. If it is, that's what this allows for. When we get back to our true self, now we're honestly presenting ourselves closer to being an actual human frequency, and that allows us to have real relationships with people from all walks of life. And that includes prisoners in the prison. That includes old people in the nursing home. That includes people who are locked up in inpatient units. That includes your neighbor. That includes the person of another color. That includes people from a different country. That includes people who think different about COVID. That includes people who think different about Trump. It includes all of these people. They all have this one thing in common. That one thing in common, as far as I can tell, it might not be true, is that they're human. Now, there's some press, the more you watch social media, the more that gets a little bit more questionable. If it's really human, are they reptiles? Are they plebeians? I don't know. I don't really know all that. I'm going to go along the idea that most people that look like humans actually are.
Yeah.
I'm going to go that for now. For now, I'm going to hang on to that one.
They haven't proved it.
Not yet. Not yet. I seen some shit that's pretty frightening.
Listen, they say TV doesn't lie, right? So growing up, I remember watching
that TV doesn't lie.
That's what I'm saying. No, but I mean, so they put out stuff to distract, like V. V was one of a show I used to watch growing up with the lizard people and everything disguised as humans. So now that you mention it, it was like, so yeah, they just put it out there to make it think, yeah, it's just a show. It's not the real thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there people from other planets? What about this comet? I don't know. It almost doesn't matter, because what's really here for me to do is find my core truth. I'm only here temporarily. You're only here temporarily.
Yes.
The one thing that we're very certain of is that both of us are going to die. We're pretty certain of that. And we don't know what that even means. We don't know if it's better on the other side. We don't know if we come back as a different creature. We don't know if it's worse. We don't know if we disappear altogether. We probably don't disappear altogether. Nothing else seems to disappear. So it's unlikely that humans disappear. But maybe we do. Maybe we do. I don't know. We don't know. That's kind of the thing that we're most afraid of. When we look at fears, if you drill down from any fear that you have, you will see that in some way, shape, or form, it's related to your concern about death. Almost every fear you have, it's like the ultimate biggest fear is, well, at least it didn't kill me. That's what we talk about. Like, the worst fear that we have is the fear of the only thing in life that is inevitable.
Yep.
Wow. What a bad combination that is.
Yeah, so we should focus on ourselves. So what role does presence play in healing that most people overlook? Like, what is it that we're missing in ourselves that we can't see in ourselves that doesn't let us see us?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we miss, the thing that we miss as humans, is that we're all one. It's not humans versus humans here. It sure looks like it, right? They've separated us. It sure feels that way, like it's them. Like, those people are so wrong. I can't stand them. I don't want to hear from them. I don't want to listen to them. I don't want to care what they have to say or what they do. I don't respect them. They're worthless. They are less than zero. They're the enemy. The truth is, when we start realizing that we as humans are all one, we're really all one. There's one, like we're the fingers on the world's hands. That's all we are. We're the same. We're in the same creature. And when we start realizing that the difference between that person, and you can name whoever you want to name here. You want to name the president, you can do that. You want to name the president of another country, you can do that. You want to name Michael Jordan, you could do that. You want to name, Stanley Kubrick, you can do that. You want to name some actor or actress, it's no problem. You could think that they're different than you. They're not that different than you. They're not that different. Now, they have one condition too. So Susan Sarandon has one condition. You know what her condition is?
She's a good actress. She's Susan
She's
Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
That's her condition. That's it. So she's walking through the world as Susan Sarandon. Fred Moss, what do you think my diagnosis is?
Fred Moss.
Exactly. Thank you. That's the diagnosis I have. I'm not that different than you. I'm really not. And that's the thing that we miss. That we have it that we're over here, they're over there, we're totally different. We don't have anything to share with each other. We don't have the same experiences in life. And that's just not true. In a class of experiences, humans are way more alike than they are different. And I think if we knew that, then we could respect each other as being part of the same one body.
And I've actually learned that through podcasting because of the conversations of being able to communicate with people from all over the world, having conversations with people in China, Japan, Australia, Italy, with people connecting with people all over the world, and at the end of the day, we might speak different languages and everything, but at the core of it all, we're the same. Like we all want just the same things in life. It's just and so that's what I've been able to learn through the podcasting and having these wonderful conversations.
Yeah, beautiful.
So what's one simple practice someone can use today to reconnect with their voice?
All right. Well, reconnecting with your voice requires you to get drilled down and find out who you really are. You're going to have to do that. So when you speak and you say something that's after you say it, you realize I really didn't mean that. Has that ever happened to you? Where you say something and you're like, you know what? I really didn't mean to say that. Like maybe you hurt somebody with your words, or maybe you said something that you don't really totally believe, or maybe you caused some damage. When you do that, it's really a good idea to back up and restate what is there. So if you're going to talk about true voice, when it's really, really important is to get that discovering your true voice is a matter of getting to the bottom underneath the muck and listening to that part of you that's been with you the whole time. When you were 3 years old or 2 years old or 5 years old, there was a part of you that you remember now who thought this or that about the world. That is where the gold is. That's the person you've been this whole ride. Even though you look at him, he's a little baby or he's a little kid, he had the gold. He knew why you were here. He understood what life was about. Maybe he was playing a little bit more than you were. Probably he was. Maybe he wasn't taking himself so seriously. Probably not. Maybe he was just having fun or finding a way to eat or finding a way to, have friends. Okay. Maybe that's what we should be doing now. And when we really look at that, it's not impossible. It's a scary world, however. It's not easy to go out there and just meet people and create fun and play, and entertainment. And entertainment is also overrated. But let's just go back to your question, which I think had to do with what do we do? Like, how can true voice be healing? Remind me of the actual question that you asked.
But what's a simple practice someone can use today to reconnect with their voice?
Yeah. So I think that one practice is to back off when you say something that you don't mean. But another practice that's really important and is part of the Moss method, I think, is sitting still and silent for a few minutes each and every day. Like actually meditation looks like that. And what I'm saying, I just got through between 1:30 and 2, or right before this call, I did a standing meditation. So standing meditation is remarkable. I know some martial arts masters who say that the most important thing in all of martial arts is learning how to do standing meditation. And so standing meditation, you stand with your feet shoulder apart, both of them pointed forward, parallel to each other, and then you hold like a beach ball in front of you at your belly level, at the level of your umbilicus, at the level of your belly button. And you just stand there. That's it. You set the timer for 15 minutes. Knees unlocked. Do not lock your knees. And you're looking forward And if you feel an itch on your face, try not to scratch it. Just deal with it. It's going to go away. You're just here to stand still like a tree. You're pulled up into the heavens from the top of your crown, and you're pulled into the ground from your bottom of your feet, into the ground like an oak tree. And in that process, so much good things happen that set you up in a powerful way for the rest of the day. I could even make a case that my standing meditation before this call has fueled me during this call. Had you got me at 1:30 before my standing meditation, I was a mess. I'm not even sure I had anything to say. And now I did my standing meditation, and I've been aflow during this whole meeting.
That's awesome. I'm glad you did your standing meditation. What does healing without shame actually look like in daily life?
What does what look like?
Healing without shame.
Healing without shame. So shame is a very interesting feeling. You know, shame is part of life, unfortunately, and we've been given the gift of being shameful. And one of the things about being shameful is it reminds us in areas of life where we could improve. That's all it's really there for. We do something, we look back at it, we realize, wow, that was terrible. I can't believe a guy like me did that. I don't see myself as a guy who can do what I just did. I just hurt somebody, or I just hurt myself, or I just caused some damage somewhere. And that isn't what I know myself to be. And I'm feeling ashamed about that. So what is healing without shame is that really it's not about without shame. It's about incorporating shame for the power that it is. Actually, when you feel the urge to be ashamed of yourself, ashamed of, something that you've done or said, it's a matter of seeing that as a lesson rather than something wrong with you. Now, it's a miserable experience, right? Nobody's looking for the next time you feel shame. Nobody's like, I can't wait to be shameful again.
Yeah.
It's a very miserable experience. So what we try to do is reconnect or reorient ourselves into the power of shame, and that shame is more or less an indicator that there's something in our life that could use improvement next time it comes around.
Awesome. Okay. So this is the last question before we give you the solo screen and you get to plug away and everything. If someone's feeling disconnected from themselves, what's the first honest question they should ask?
What purpose is this serving for me to pretend to be disconnected from myself?
That's a really good question.
I'm pretending, dude. I've never been disconnected from myself for even 1 second of my life. But I know the experience. I sometimes believe I'm disconnected from myself. What purpose is that serving? The truth is, I've been me the whole time. There's been one of me, and I've been me. I've been with myself the whole time. 24/7, 365, except on leap year where they add another day. I've been with me the whole time. What purpose is it serving for me to buy into the idea that I don't feel like myself?
Awesome. Well, Dr. Fred, we've come to this part where you get the spotlight and you get to plug away and let everybody know where they can find you, websites, where they get the books, everything.
Yeah, so thank you for giving me this. It's great. And so the best place to find me is at my main website, which is drfred360.com. Take a look at that. Or you can look at the most recent project that I've been working on, and that's time-tested proven methods to help people become undoctored or to help people become an undoctor. You see, you don't need to have an education. You don't need to be, you don't need to pay a lot of money. You don't need to actually do anything different than what you already have in hand to learn how to be an undoctor, to learn how to help people undiagnose themselves, unmedicate themselves, and then undoctrinate themselves so that they don't fall for the trick that they're supposed to go to the doctor when they're feeling mentally unsteady. So you can learn how to do that. And the undoctorreset.com is a place you can learn what we're doing there, including all the retreats that we're having, all the books you might be able to read. I have hundreds of videos, actually thousands of videos on YouTube that you can take a peek at under @Dr. Fred Moss. I troll around on the internet a little bit. I'm not proud of that. I talk about shame. I sometimes feel shameful for how much time I spend on the internet. And sometimes that's in Facebook, where I really can't stand Facebook, but I find myself trolling around and watching reels and wasting time. And my goodness, it's concerning. But I'm sometimes there, and I certainly would answer messages that show up in my DMs on Facebook and answer messages that show up on LinkedIn. Those are my two favorite sites. And then my mothership is something called welcometohumanity.net. That's the main website. And from that one and drfred360.com, you can get access to everything I've ever done. You can get all my podcasts where I've been a guest. It's several hundred podcasts. And you can get all the podcasts that I've dropped. I was a host for over 300 podcasts. And you can get access to my books, my Find Your True Voice book and my Creative 8 book. And you can get all sorts of freebies and all sorts of roadmaps and all sorts of gifts or opportunities or ways that you can join my community inside of the school group. You can get access to almost everything. And maybe the thing that's most important is you can get access to me. And then what I mean by that is if you want to have a brief conversation, if there's somebody in your life who you feel like is struggling with their own mental health and the system is not helping them, or is struggling with their own sense of mental health and they're wondering whether they should go to the system, this is my favorite kind of client who hasn't rung the bell yet, then there's a space where you can book a call with me. And for all you listeners out there, if you just tell me that you heard me on this podcast, I will be glad to give you a full discovery call so that we can learn where and if I can be helpful with you. Because I know a lot of people. I've been in the field for 46 years. And if it's not me, I think I have access to somewhere that can probably help you. And it'd be my pleasure and honor, my privilege. It's the purpose I came here, is to help people actually flatten themselves out in this crazy world and become aware and in reality with their core self and their core values so that they can deliver their true voice into the community and connect with other humans. Because as we've already learned during this hour, all healing emanates from the essence of a human connection.
Awesome. Before we go, Corrado left another comment. He said, great segment today. Thank you. Thank you, Corrado, for stopping by and sharing your comments. Appreciate it. Thank you, Dr. Fred. I appreciate you being a guest. Don't leave just yet. Let me just close out the show and we'll chat a little bit off the screen. But thank you so much for being such a great guest. I appreciate your patience at the beginning. Thank you so much.
Course. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Another great episode. If today's conversation resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Dr. Fred Moss is creating spaces for real dialogue, real listening, and real healing without labels, without pretending, and without shame. You can connect with him, explore his work, and dive deeper into these conversations at welcometohumanity.net. And if this episode gave you language for something you've been feeling but couldn't name, share it with someone who needs to hear they're not broken, they're human. Thank you once again to Dr. Fred for coming by and dropping some gems. I greatly do appreciate it. Everybody have a great New Year's. Peace out.